Betting Weekly Tennis Live, Wimbledon, action on the grass, the All England Club, Mitch Michaels, Nigel Seeley, all part of the Bet Rivers Network. Download the app, get in on the action. There's so much tennis happening all across the prestigious grounds of the All England Club, all across the grass, and you can follow us on our socials because we win. Nigel Seeley, welcome to the show. You are dressed like it's the hottest day on record in Wimbledon history.
This is the hottest day of my lifetime in Wimbledon. I was born in Wimbledon. This is like the hottest previous day was about 75, and now it's about 110. We're not used to these kind of conditions. So I thought I'd get the sort of the Jazzy Jeff kind of vibe going on. The summertime's arrived today. So I thought I've watched Dustin Fox. He's always got these kind of like nice garish kind of shirts. He's always chilling out. It looks quite good. So I thought I might put it on today for the start of Wimbledon, but it is absolutely boiling in the UK. We're not kind of used to these kind of conditions. Stateside, people have obviously air conditioning. Air conditioning is something that's only just been developed in the last 6 months in this country. We don't have air conditioning. Okay. We're not used to anything like that. So when it's a hot day like this, it's something that takes us by surprise. So, and it took a few tennis players by surprise. The conditions of Wimbledon today.
Yeah, it certainly has. We've seen upsets. We've seen Medvedev out, another early loss for him. Tsitsipas retired 2 sets down. Holger Rune 2 sets up, loses to Nicholas Jarry. So it's happened. I saw the Sabalenka match, Nigel. She had the ice pack on her head. It looked like it was a very hot day, but she did find a way through against Brandstein. We've got a lot going on, including Carlos Alcaraz in the 5th set, which I don't know if you have eyes on this match. It's showing up suspended right now as I'm pulling this up. So I think there's a break going on.
No, the reason why it's suspended is that someone's been taken ill in the stands. It's been very, very hot, and they've obviously taken the time out to make sure that the person is okay in the stands. I mean, it's going to be the problem today at Wimbledon that it's an open court. Obviously, the sun's setting now, or the next couple of hours, so it'll be a bit cooler. But someone's been taken ill in the stands. Hopefully, they're okay. But that's the reason why the market's suspended at the moment. Wait to see what comes on there. But we're back on play now. Fognini is 3-love down, and he's serving. He's 15-love, and he's serving. But what an incredible match the Italian veteran has put on here. I mean, he has played the best he's played all year. Alcaraz is playing bad, isn't he?
He is. He's playing bad. I was going to say for Fognini, perfect way to go out, right? Like you're going out, you're at this age, you're pushing. I know Alcaraz hasn't played well, but this is it for him, and it's been good. But yeah, Alcaraz, it's funny too, because we talked a little bit about futures last week, and how Alcaraz came in pretty highly regarded. He inched ahead of, Sinner and him were neck and neck. He's been the clear favorite on Bet Rivers for a little bit since the Queen's Club title again. But yeah, not good. I don't know if it's the heat or if just his going through the motions. We've seen this where he's been sluggish to start out some of these tournaments.
Well, he didn't play very well last Wimbledon. If you can remember his form at the last Wimbledon, he got better as the tournament went on, and he played his best match in the final. So he didn't really play that well. But this isn't a vintage Alcaraz performance. He's played a lot of tennis. The reason why he got bet, and it was because of his draw. His draw was, everyone looked at the Alcaraz draw and compared to the Sinner draw and thought that, me included, thought this was going to be a very, very easy route through to the final. But, I mean, he's looking at his stats here. I mean, the number of unforced errors, 61 unforced errors from Carlos Alcaraz. Double faults, 9. That's a lot of double faults for Carlos Alcaraz. 9 double faults, 61 unforced errors. His first serve percentage is low at 69%. He needs that up to the mid-70s at the sort of very minimum. He's got away with it today. But if he played like that against someone other than Fognini at the stage of his career, he would have got beat. But like he did it last year, he's going to get better as the tournament goes. A lot of people will be hoping that Bet Rivers, obviously, he's the worst result in the book for Bet Rivers. They've got the biggest liability on Alcaraz to win this tournament, so he's the guy that's going to cost them the most money. So it's an interesting one to see whether the market reacts and has a bit of a rebase on him. And I think if they have a rebase on him, then we may have to have a bet on him, because he can't play as bad as this. Unless he's injured, he can't play as bad as this. This is just a bad day at the office. He's going to probably come through here quite convincing in the final set, and he'll move on to the next round. He's got a very winnable match in the next round if he gets there against the young English qualifier who won today, Tarvert, who's ranked 700 in the world. So he should, and then the conditions are going to change. So today and tomorrow are going to be really, really hot. So you've got to be right. If you look at like Medvedev, he didn't look comfortable from the first ball served. Rune has had problems with injuries all year. Alcaraz, someone who's probably the fittest tennis player on the circuit, is struggling in the heat. We saw in the women's draw today, Ostapenko, her conditioning isn't that great. She got in trouble. She
So many
got beat.
cartel, yeah.
Jabeur,
Almost
absolutely.
went down too. Madison Keys was teetering for a while. That
Yeah.
was
And tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to get against players who may not be in the best of their physical condition, who have got big matches. But then if they can survive the first round, then we drop from temperatures in the hundreds down to temperatures in sort of high 60s, mid 70s. And then there'll be but there are going to be seeds falling tomorrow and later on today and throughout the process today, because this weather has made it a bit of a leveler today at Wimbledon.
Yeah, Fognini struggling here to win a game here in the fifth set, but still out for a stroll, just walking around the court like he's out for an evening stroll in the heat. So also Felix Auger-Aliassime just went through as we started the show, comes back, rallies, beats Duckworth. That was a big one for him not to get bit by the upset bug. So Felix is through. Other live matches to talk about. Rublev up 2 sets. He's serving to stay in the third set against Laslo Djere, big favorite there. We have Misolic, who did well at the French Open at Roland Garros. He is down a set to Jan-Lennard Struff, so maybe there's some value there for the comeback. Berrettini up a set on serve on the men's side, and Mackenzie McDonald trying to stay in the mats against Karen Khachanov. So not really a lot of close lines right now on the live action on the men's side, but we've seen it. We've already seen it today, right? A 2 sets to the love comeback can be done.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of matches I am quite interested in again, and one of them is in the women's draw. We got Jasmine Paolini, who I am not at all convinced about Jasmine Paolini this year. I've stated on the live show, I've stated on Betting Weekly WTA. I don't think she's got the same desire she had last year. I don't think she's fit. She's another player that I think that you're talking about an Italian in this kind of heat, but I think that she may struggle a little bit in these conditions. It's very, very quick. The weather has made this court quick. It's not slow. When she got to the final last year at Wimbledon, it was a slow Wimbledon court. It's a quick Wimbledon court in these kind of weather conditions. She's up against Sevastova. Sevastova is plus 250 in play. Paolini, she's a break up on Paolini. Paolini is serving at 1-3, minus 335. I think there's a lot of juice in the price of Sevastova on the money line at plus 250. I think there's really good money on the spread, plus 3.5 at plus 102. And I also like the over 22.5 games. So I'm very heavily invested in that Jasmine Paolini match. The similar kind of players to Paolini, the likes of the Jabeur and Ostapenko today, who you would look at them, they're similar in kind in their stature, their demeanor, and they've struggled. It's the power forces we've got through today. And Paolini, I think, will struggle in these conditions. I think she's a player that I don't really want to get involved in this tournament. She was a fade for me on the Betting Weekly Insider, and she was also a fade throughout this tournament. And I think she may struggle here. The other one I think is still life in that price. We touched on it there. Is Misolic. I think Misolic at $5 or plus 6.5 on the spread could make a match of this against Jan-Lennard Struff. Jan-Lennard Struff is a player that's coming towards the end of his career. He's obviously a huge hitter. He's obviously going to be used to these conditions. But I just got a feeling if Misolic can win that fourth set and we go into a final set in these really hot conditions at the stage of Jan-Lennard Struff's career, I think he could jack it in. His body could fold. He's not fit. He's not 100% fit.
It held against Shapovalov in Paris in a long 5-set brutal match where he was holding up. So I like that one. Yeah. And to get to your point about Paolini Svetoslova, I like that because you highlighted everything that Paolini can do and maybe she struggles with. Svetoslova, Nigel, just gives you no power, just gives you nothing. And that's kind of what Paolini relies upon, right? Is redirecting and using the opponent's power against her. Svetoslova is a very frustrating player to play against. So now down an early break, it's going to be a battle. Like she's not on cruise control. Svetoslova is in this match and it could be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3-2 now. It's minus 420 Paolini, plus 310. Spread is 4.5. The spread has gone up a little bit, 4.5 and 3.5, but 22.5. But I just got a feeling that she may struggle. I watched a game, I think it was a couple of years ago in Miami, where I watched Paolini play Ostapenko, and they played in Miami. And you've been to the new Miami?
Have not been, but yeah, I remember the match you're talking about though.
Well, when they played, if you went to Miami and you played on the main court, which is obviously where the football stadium is, the conditions there are so much different to the outside court because the outside court is open to elements and the sun comes in. There's no shade. When you're in the main court, the shade comes in. And I watched Ostapenko play Paolini, and both of them were really, really struggling with the weather conditions. And they were Ostapenko just lost it because of a conditioning at that particular time. But I got a feeling here that Paolini, I watched him play in Dubai as well. I think Paolini played Ostapenko in Dubai, and the same thing happened there as well. But I think the conditions here may be a little bit too tough. I think there's a lot of life in that match. But I do like this Struff match here. He's minus 835. I mean, I think we could have a rebase. If Misolic wins this set number 4, then we have got, obviously it's an obvious thing to say, but we have a real match. But at minus 835, I want to take a chance and fade Struff here.
The other one too, and I want to mention it because it looked like cruise control, maybe not. I mean, Vondrousova is serving for the match for the second time, it looks like here. She is up 5-4. Kessler's trying to stay in it. So we got 15-love in that one. It's off the board, but maybe Kessler can push. And we know breaks happen in this situation, right? Serving for the match. Can Vondrousova stay clean and stay out of the heat and win this game?
I watched the first set of that match, and I thought to myself, wow, this is like peak Vondrousova here. She's someone who's going to go very, very deep in the tournament. She's struggling a little bit now at 5-4, but I think she's going to have enough to get through. But the first set, she was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I thought, hang on a minute, we had a big market rebase on Vondrousova after she won Berlin last week, but really now she's playing at the top of her game. It's 15-30 on her serve now, so she's struggling a little bit. And the other one who is playing, and she's under the radar. But I tell you what, she is playing some fantastic tennis, and she's got a very, very favourable draw, and she's cruising through at the moment. Anisimova.
Yeah.
I mean, she's hitting the ball beautifully hard, and if it stays quick like this, the power hitting of her, she's going to go deep in this tournament, and she's doing well. She's going to be 4-love up here against Putintseva, which is a brilliant result here. 16.5 the total there. I mean, that's a massive statement from Anisimova here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. This has been the tournament we've said a million times where there's been the long shots, the longer shots winning outright. Anisimova has all the tools to do well here, and you said the draw was so kind to her with this matchup and where it could lead. So you don't want to get ahead of yourself as well. Other women's matchups is, wow, double break point for Kessler. That was plus 1,800 when it was, I think, 15-love. And now we are looking at Kessler plus 420 on the money line. She breaks her. Wow. Just like that.
But now we've got a match, because obviously, she was brilliant. Honestly, the set number 1, I was looking at it. She was 5-1 up when we started the live show here. Wow. That was her price. But she's now in these hot conditions. She's another player that hasn't played a lot of tennis this year, Vondrousova. I mean, she's coming back from injury. She's coming back for a long layoff. She hasn't really hit these levels. I mean, brilliant last week in Berlin. Obviously, Kessler won Nottingham as well. And I think the age may become a little bit part of it. But actually, surprisingly, I didn't realise that they're both exactly the same age. If someone said to me now, you can wager who was older, Vondrousova or Kessler, I would have as much money as I could on Vondrousova. But they're actually exactly the same age. But fitness, it's all about fitness today and tomorrow. It's all about who is
Kessler trained in. I know a lot of people watching this show are diehard tennis fans and know, but Kessler is from the South in America. Georgia, trained at Gainesville. This level of heat is nothing new to her. So that's not gonna, it's not gonna be a fitness question for her to answer. It could be a skill question at some point, but she's not gonna tap out in the heat.
Yeah, I suppose that. But I mean, you wouldn't have thought that from Jabeur, who come from Tunisia. I know it's a different stage of her career.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have thought that from. Ostapenko in Latvia is it's a different thing.
I think
I've been to Latvia. It's bloody freezing. It's -6 on a good day. But I mean, there are players here. But I just think that the conditions are testing. A lot of players have come to Wimbledon where it hasn't been as quick as this, and they've adapted to a usual slow court. This is a quick court. The first 2 days, when the stats come out, it's going to be one of the quickest starts to Wimbledon. The weather will make that thing, and there are people here who are going to who are going to cause some problems.
Yeah, we've got a lot of great comments too in the chat. If you want to get in, get some questions in, we can try our best to go over it. And yeah, one of the players too, one of our first comments in the show, Ito's doing well. She won the first set. This is the Japanese young player who just broke into the top 100. So she's playing very well. There's I think Lulu Sun's in a tough match early as well. So the live women's slate, Nigel, is pretty good, and there's a lot to choose from on that side. We mentioned a few of them, but yeah, I think it's matches galore on the women's side.
Yeah, giving us a bit of an update here. We've obviously got Sevastova as
she fought off the bit of the challenge there from Paolini, so she's still got a break up. Unfortunately, in the other match, I quite like Struff has now broken Misolic, so he's 2 sets to 1 up with a break, so that looks like it's pretty much done. It's a very, very heavy favourite there. But I'm looking at a Svantesova match against Paolini. There are a few matches I like tomorrow on the slate. As we are at a live stage now, I mean, we've got some pretty much uncompetitive matches. Probably the most competitive matches is that Paolini match where we've already made our case. The Vondrousova one is we're going to keep an eye on that one because if it goes into a final set, that's
I've got my eye on Lulu's son and Bouzkova as well.
What do you like?
I kind of like Lulu in this one. I would say I'm going to look at the spread now. I don't know. I think she having success here last year. I think this is a nice value. I'm looking at the live odds now at plus 148 or so. It's coming down, but serving first there. And Mark, if you're just joining the show, what happened to Rune was the heat, maybe Nico Jari's forehand, a combination of the above. But yeah, Nigel, I think Lulu would be a play that I would want to bet on. I don't know if I have the cojones to go money line, but I like her.
Well, she did well Wimbledon last year, didn't she? Didn't she beat Meme Raducanu last year?
I know.
She's suddenly got up in my estimation.
Yeah,
she's one of my favorite players.
I know that does well, but yeah, she made that run. It was quarterfinals last year, I think. At least round 16.
What is she in play? I mean, we're looking at. She's plus 235.
Yeah.
Plus 135. Sorry.
Yeah, serving first. So if you want to get in, and you know this better than anyone, right? You get in when it's tied, when it's that even, like 3-all or 4-all if it is. That's when you're going to find some value. But yeah, I like that.
Alcaraz has got the job done. He's won the final set 6-1. He's come through a real struggle there, but he obviously showed his class against a man. Final match at Wimbledon. What a brilliant performance from Yulia. What a great career. What a player to watch. But Alcaraz goes through. Big scare. What would you Svantesova just breaking Paolini 5-2 up serving for the match. Anisimova 5-0.
Also got Matteo Berrettini down 4-1 in set 2.
He's another one that could struggle with the heat. You know, he's a player that obviously has had such a long injury worries coming to a major here where his physicality may be let down. I mean, this is a tough one. Fognini's in tears on the side of the court. Alcaraz is giving him a massive round of applause, standing ovation at Wimbledon. One of my favourite players, Fognini. Yeah. What a great player to watch. Is brilliant, and Alcaraz survives. What do you think about? I mean, what would you think about somebody who's had a testing 5-setter like that on his chance of winning the tournament? You know, would you think that? Well, he's got that one under his belt, or would you think? Oh, I'm not sure.
Well, it's kind of hard too because he's won majors where he hasn't played his best. Like he's actually won the tournaments. We've seen that before. This was, as you say, watching the match, a bad day at the office. There's nothing really fitness or heat wise with him. He just wasn't on. I think Alcaraz has entered that top flight conversation where he can ramp up in this tournament. So I think you're giving him some more rope than you would maybe pretty much everybody else because we've seen him do it where he's come out sluggish and then played his best for last.
We've seen him do it at 3 championship points down in the biggest stage of them all, the French Open. I mean, the guy's incredible, and his fitness levels are big. And but I think that was a big scare for him today. He come through well. Fognini give him a bet. Rajat Rana has just asked if we got any live bet. Well, the live bet that we've given so far, and it's probably still a little bit live, is I'm on Svantesova to beat Paolini. Because of the weather conditions over in the UK, I think Paolini may struggle with the quick conditions, and that was a price at around about plus. I don't know, what was it, 165 or something?
Yeah, I kind of like. I mean, I'm looking at Bet Rivers right now. I kind of like Kessler to take set 2 where we stand right now. It's plus money as I just clicked on it, so. I think Vondrousova still pulls through in 3, but I do like Kessler to win set 2. It's a match now. That was crazy, the comeback that she made from 4-1, 5-3 down.
So that's obviously it's plus 350. Want to be more braver and take McCartney Kessler on the money line. Svantesova is even money now, and she's got a set point to take the first set 6-2. Lulu's son we quite liked as well at plus 130, and that's the in play. Actually, we sort of concentrate on the women's draw rather than the men's draw. Some more matches coming up. I think Misolic would have a chance, but obviously that's gone down already. That was our other in play. Stavanovich-Rakin has just started against Brandon Holt, and Griekspoor has just started against Talon Griekspoor against Brooksby. That looks like an over 40.5 games for me at minus 113. I'd probably look at the over there.
Great grass court results. Griekspoor wins the title. Brooksby makes the final in their lead up here. So we got some stuff there. Thoughts on Osaka? I have a question on that match as well, but But the first thing, Nigel, I want to ask you on the men's side coming up today, 2 seeded players in the same section. They've run into each other a bunch. Taylor Fritz plays Mpetshi Perricard. You've got Zverev versus the unluckiest man in the draws the last year in Rinderknecht. Are either of those matches going to be competitive? Do you like a bet on either or both of them?
I think both of them be competitive. Obviously, the Fritz and Mpetshi Perricard, we've got to play a massive game total. I mean, if you ask everybody where they're going to look at that game, the first thing they're going to look at is the totals, and they're playing. You've got to take a silly number. So I would be worrying about it. I'll be slightly concerned if I was a Fritz better, because I think this is a little bit different from the court he's won at Eastbourne. He'll probably play a little bit quick today. That might suit him a little bit, but it also is going to suit Mpetshi Perricard. I would be a little bit worried, because I think the going deep in a tournament last week and winning it in these conditions might not be the ideal preparation. You might want to be going out in semi-finals, quarterfinals. The fact that you went all the way to the final and won it, I'm not quite sure. But I think the obvious play, and it is the obvious play, is the overs. And I think the first set to be a tiebreak, if you were asking me where I'm going to have a bet on that match, or where I would think potentially the value is, set 1 tiebreak. I mean, it's going to be very, very edgy in the first set. And we know these are the 2 of the biggest servers in the world. The total is 44.5 on the total, which is a grass court first round match at Wimbledon is an average of about 36 games. So 44.5 is a very, very, very high number. So that will show you exactly where Bet Rivers expect this match to go. But I think an over 12.5 tiebreak set number 1 would be where I'll be looking at. I think the first set's going to be very, very, very close.
We got that comment in the chat. That match just started on the women's side, or is about to start. First point. It's Naomi Osaka is a huge favorite against Talia Gibson, -770. Any read on this one? I mean, Naomi's embracing grass a little more, but has not been her best.
Yeah, I just come back. I just actually looked at the odds there for the tiebreak in set 1. They're usually in a normal tennis match. A tiebreak in a set of grass would be at +120. So I was actually thinking that we might get even money, considering these 2 guys are such big servers. I've just looked at Bet Rivers. First set tiebreak -155. So I'm not pull that bet. I'm not playing at I'm playing -155. Osaka is someone I just think. Again, I'm going back to the conditions that they're playing in, and I think that you want to be hungry. I think if you've won a lot of tennis tournaments, you won majors like Osaka's done, the hunger might not be there. The hunger certainly for the Australian at 21, who she's playing today, Talia Gibson, might be there. She's got a good grass court record. She come through qualifying in quite impressive style. And I think that might be a little bit more competitive than the odds suggest. If I was, again, I'm not going to have a bet on the match, but if I was going to have a better match, I'd probably bet the dog with the start, because I just got a feeling that might not be as easy as you would suggest here. I'll give you some updates. Sun's 3-3, 30 love. Anisimova won the first set, 6-love. Wow, that is a proper performance. I mean, she's going to go deep here. I've got some bets for tomorrow I quite like. I mean,
let's take a look. What do you like tomorrow?
I like a lot in the women's again. If you watched Betting Weekly WTA, you would have seen some of the bets, and some of the lines have moved quite dramatically from when I bet them. But my first bet is Sonmez to beat Jaqueline Christian. It was -110. It's now -136. I think Christian is the worst grass court player in the draw. I mean, absolutely. She's 13 matches, 2 wins, one of them against someone just ranked inside the top 1,000. Her other win was against Bronzetti, who's not really renowned for her clay court play. So I like her tomorrow. If you haven't seen the show, you'll see that. The market is a 50-50 call between Krejcikova and Elia.
That's a good one. Yeah, fascinating, right? Like defending champ. The bright spot of Miami, someone who's taken the tennis world and internet tennis world by storm, against the defending champion in a pick'em.
I quite like the youngster. I quite like Elia at the pick'em match, because I think that she's clearly not going to be overruled by the situation, because what she did in Miami, the players she beat, Iga Swiatek, went to Madrid and should have beat Swiatek as well there. I think that the conditions will suit her, and it's going to be even hotter tomorrow. And I know Krejcikova is the defending champion, but she has had that year plagued by injury. And I don't think she's going to be. If it wasn't any other tournament, she pulled out the tournament last week as well, didn't she?
Yeah.
So if it wasn't any other tournament other than Wimbledon, I can't see her competing because she's a defending champion and she wants to play that first game and defend her title. Other than that, I don't think she'll be there. So I'm quite strong on Elia tomorrow to beat Krejcikova. I like that. The other match, I like another one. I'm going for all the players who are injured. And because of the condition, Mukova, I want to fade Mukova against Wang. I mean, I can't understand why Mukova was priced up originally as the favourite in this match. I mean, Wang was plus 115. Wang now is minus 136. Wang got to the fourth round of Wimbledon last year. She beat Jessica Pegula. She got to the final of Berlin. She got beat Badosa, Goff, Kazatkina, Jabeur. And Mukova's had a torrid year of injuries. There is a lot of women's players who are injured. There's a lot of men's players who are injured. Yeah. And they will have some very, very testing conditions. And if it wasn't for the £66,000 or $75,000 to turn up in round one, they wouldn't be here.
I'm looking at another match I wanted your thoughts on, and that's Sakkari Blinkova. I'm staring at that line. I'm just staring at it. I'm not sure where to go.
I was very close to betting Blinkova. I was very, very close to betting. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, same. Like I'm right at the goal line. I'm like, do I pull the trigger here? Because Sakkari, well, Blinkova actually had a couple wins leading up to this, and I think she can play well. I just don't know if I trust Sakkari in this spot, in any spot really, with some stakes on there. So it might be more of a Sakkari.
There's only one place separating the two of them in the world rankings. I mean, they're both in like 77 or 78, but on the betting would suggest that Sakkari is an overwhelming favourite. She's obviously got the more experience on the grass court, but their grass court record is pretty much 50-50 as well. There's a 50-50 record on the grass. Their ranking is the same. I think it's a genuinely 50-50 call. And obviously, and I don't want to overemphasize this, but it's tough out there in the next 2 days. And I think you want to get with a younger player.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that too, right? Because there's a men's match tomorrow that I think maybe the heat comes into play. Mickelson, Kekmanovic, right? Kekmanovic hasn't been in best form. Mickelson, had a couple tough losses there. But I do think Kekmanovic's fitness is a little higher up than Mickelson. So given that he's a dog, maybe there might be value. Mickelson, I think we wanted a little more in these grass lead-ups than we got.
Well, he's like a robot. Kekmanovic when he plays, it's like he's programmed to play and goes. Whereas, Mickelson, I think out of the two of them, whose body might. I mean, that is a brilliant bet if it went into a final set because
it's beat Tommy Paul. Kekmanovic beat Tommy Paul in a final set and was at Australia, and that's one of the fittest guys there is. So that says something.
That's where you want to be. You want to be if it goes in play and you go into a fifth set, then Kekmanovic wins that match all day long. But there is so many question marks about a lot of these players. I mean, there's got Mira Andreeva tomorrow. She's like minus 33.
What's happened to her recently? I mean, you see it with the future markets.
Would you bet her at minus 3,300? You got a risk of $3,300 to win 100. I mean,
absolutely not. Based on what we've seen, I don't think you can justify that. I think if you're talking about players, right, that maybe they don't lose early, but given form, that I'm not saying that they're going to lose, but it's possible they lose. Ever since he got to the top 10, Nigel, we haven't seen the best from Ben Shelton. I think that's safe to say.
No, and his form coming in, and he's got every attribute, isn't he, to be a proper grass court player. When he come on, everyone thought he was going to be a grass court player. But I mean, there's a question. Just before we go, there is one match that's going to start in about 5 minutes' time. I think it's the next match on centre court, and it's a very, very intriguing match. And I've had a bet on this earlier today, and I've bet it the last couple of days, but I'm going to go in again. I've gone quite big. I think that. Bolter beats Badosa at plus 150. I think I again, her boyfriend just got beat. They've been sailing around the Amalfi Coast with me. They've been Instagramming. He didn't fancy it. She is not going to fancy this week. I think but Bolter in front of that crowd after that Alcaraz match, they're going to be pumped. They're going to be cheering her on. And I think that is a really real lively dog.
I like it.
Bet Rivers. I thought that again. I thought that was a genuine 50-50 call.
And to get plus, I think she was plus 150 earlier in the market. The market has come towards her now. She currently is, I think, about plus 135. I can't find it on my screen here, but
yeah, it's coming around.
I think that is. I think there's Sevastova's just taking a break early in the second set. She's minus 175 now.
Yeah, she has, and we got Vondrousova through, so she proves me wrong. Gets by Kessler, makes that play happen. Yeah, and we got some comments about Maya Joint in the chat. Nigel Joint Samsonova. I'm not sure. Samsonova, I know, has been breaking your. There's a lot of angles to this one, so I'll let you.
Well, whenever time anyone says anything about Joint, I always say she's very good on grass. But that obviously Joint and grass over that. It's a joke, but and I always say that her odds are very high. But anyway, other than that, I think sometimes you might have a little bit of a. Again, I don't think the preparation is ideal for her to win the tournament last week and then come in. She's a young player. She's now got a target on her back that people see her as a dangerous opponent. I think Samsonova will have too much. And I think Samsonova will beat her, because the reason I think Samsonova will beat her is because it's going to be quick. And I think the big serve that Samsonova has, I know Joint can hit the ball hard, but Samsonova's serve is a deadly weapon in quick conditions. So I would expect Samsonova to win it, but probably in a little bit of a tight one. I think it's very hard for a young player to have a big win and come in next week, next match against a seeded player, and expect to keep that levels up in very different conditions.
Exceptional match, exceptional final tiebreak against Fiala, winning that one. It was very impressive in Eastbourne. The last one I did have before we wind this down with a look in the live window. Nigel, what do you think about Monfils and Ugo Humbert tomorrow? It could be conditions. Monfils is down to suffer. Ugo on grass has been good, but that's an interesting match for sure.
I mean, how old is he now? Is he 40 now? Is he 40?
He's getting there. Getting there.
It's gonna. Well, I mean, you wouldn't trust Ugo Humbert. I mean, the one thing about Ugo Humbert is that he can completely go if the crowd gets against him. I see him play a young British player called Ryan Pedersen at Queen's Club about 2 years ago. And Ryan Pedersen, I think I could beat Ryan Pedersen now, left-handed. And he beat Ugo Humbert when he was a heavy favourite. The fact he's playing against Humbert, I think, with the whole crowd against him, that is going to be tough. But again, 40 years of age, going deep. For Monfils, he's got to blow him away early. If we go into a 4-5 set, do you know what? I think it'd be a draw. I don't fancy it. I'm going to sit on the fence and say I think it'd be a draw. I wouldn't bet either.
True bold spirit there, but that's crazy. Well, it's been a great show. We've still got the live window to go. We've also got the bettingweeklystudios.com newsletter. Just make sure you get in on the action there. Some exclusive stuff you can see about not just tennis, but about football, about basketball, all the different sports that we have to cover here. And Nigel, I know we've got so many shows to come forward, but the great podcast that we do, the YouTube shows, you got to make sure you subscribe to the channel. The growth has been off the charts in large part to the efforts you and the team have done.
Yeah, I mean, what we need, the big target always for Bet Rivers was to try to hopefully get us to around about 10,000 subscribers for Wimbledon. That was always our target, and we're a couple of hundred short. We've had a really huge amount of growth in the last couple of days and up to the Wimbledon content. Loads of stuff available on our socials as well at Because We Win. And all we want you to do is just hit that subscribe button. Obviously, all we're doing this stuff for you for free, trying to give you some bets along the way. All we want you to do is bet some winners. And hopefully you enjoy our content and give us a comment and hit the subscribe button. And like the shows we're doing. Just let you know, Paolini did break back, but we're on a big price. I still think that's not so bad. I did say go over the games. I did say plus 6.5 or whatever the handicap was a decent bet, whichever way you want to go. But we're all in. I'm all in on Katie Boulter. Katie Boulter is my girl tonight, and she is going to win. I don't fade all British tennis players, unless their name is Emma.
Emma having a good day today. But yeah, hopefully Boulter keeps it going. A successful day for British tennis players. We've got Paolini, you mentioned, Lulu's son, Bouzkova. Bouzkova was serving for the set, but it's love 30 in that one. So much on the live action. Will this keep going? Will Putintseva win a game against Anisimova? Probably not, but we'll see how that goes. But Nigel, this was fun. This is just day one. Wimbledon goes on for 2 weeks, and there's already so many storylines and subplots one day in.
Incredible. And the biggest subplot is how Mr. Seeley turned up with this Hawaii shirt on, and that is the best. When it's traditional white at Wimbledon, I always go a bit of colour.
Yeah. I was like, are we watching Hawaii 5-0? What's the play going on here? But we've got themes galore. But Nigel, always a blast. Remember, this show, Betting Weekly Tennis Live, is 1:00 Eastern, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. All part of the Bet Rivers network. Follow that. Download the app, get in on the action, make your bets at Bet Rivers, and follow the Because We Win social channels as well. Nigel, a blast as always. For everybody on the team, the hardworking team at Bet Rivers, I'm Mitch Michaels. Thank you for watching Betting Weekly Tennis Live. We'll be back tomorrow, 1:00 Eastern. Enjoy Wimbledon, make some money, and I'll talk to you soon.